Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a little over 2 weeks since the video dropped that sent shockwaves throughout the entire gaming world. And EA's best response, we would never use it to advantage or disadvantage any group of players. But the technology was designed to explore how we might help players that are having difficulty in a certain area of a game. I mean, wow, that has to be like the most incoherent statements in the history of incoherent statements. I mean, this reminds me of that famous Rick James scene in the Dave Chappelle show where they ask, did you really grind your feet on Eddie Murphy's couch? And he's like, oh, come on, man, I can be a little more creative than that. You gotta give me more credit for that than that. Yeah, I grind my, in the very next sentence, yeah, I grind my feet on Eddie's couch because he can afford another one. He can buy another one. Well, this is the exact same scenario here because, like, this is really what EA is saying. EA, this goes beyond disrespecting the gaming community. This goes beyond just disrespecting the intelligence of the gaming community. It's a slap in the face. And what this really is, they're right. Just like Rick James, Eddie can buy another one. We are going to continue buying this fucking piece of dog shit unless we finally stand up to this fucking piece of shit right here. This right here is like they are egging us on to actually grow a fucking pair of cojones and do it. Boycott them. And you know what, guys? Previously, I had always had my doubts about boycotting, about calling for a full-on boycott of EA because I thought it just it didn't seem like it might be feasible. But in recent days, in recent weeks, there have been a few events. Now you all know that in Belgium, right, they outlawed PAX. Well, here in the U.S. government is also taking some serious steps to curb this racketeering venture that EA is implementing. This would really, it says it all. I mean, it following Belgium's example, because yes, it is, this really is gambling, unregulated gambling, and U.S. Senator says anti-loot box bill has the video game industry worried, and so they should be really worried, because your scheme, your swindling of customers all over the world, that's gonna be coming to an end pretty soon, I should imagine. Because, like I said, before I never thought that a boycott would actually work, but I honestly think that now the momentum that EA has used against us all these years is now with us to go ahead and do it. Because, I mean, it's EA's got the government on their ass. They sent out the Entertainment Software Association, their publisher lobby, their game lobby that engages with government hosts the annual E3 show. So yeah, I mean, EA's in damage control all the way. They are in full damage control because even Forbes magazine, guys, a publication that they literally try to do a hit job on this whole they call, like, for example, they use two examples. They call it a conspiracy theory, but they're using two examples. They're using the example of that PowerPoint presentation that was leaked, that supposedly was a PowerPoint kind of showing prospective investors what the theory in the game is. Guaranteed cash, get based on and the PowerPoint pretty much expanded upon a lot of the points that the patent does. Only that the patent is a little more, they use more legalese type language, but the PowerPoint is more kind of more precise, and so that investors can kind of get a really good idea of how exactly the game works, how they're going to be recouping their investment and more, and then some. So. And Forbes called it, a conspiracy theory. Forbes called it, that it was like, now, a very interesting thing about this here is that Forbes actually reports that the person who posted the PowerPoint took it down. I think it was on Reddit. Took it down, and all the comments were erased. So because it's not public property, so I'm not gonna get too into that section because I don't want the video taken down. But I find it surprising that Forbes magazine actually did have permission to use, that story, the PowerPoint presentation, to their advantage, to basically do a hit job. But even Forbes magazine could not save, EA from their troubles, because even Forbes magazine was like, yeah, but the patent, that's real. Yeah, the patent, Forbes can't even dispute that. You know what I mean? That's how bad it's gotten for EA. That not even Forbes, like the Wall Street Journal, like what all the rich people fucking read. And the reason Forbes is reporting about this is because EA is losing investors like crazy, guys. And so they've been losing. That's the PowerPoint here that you guys could go in there. You can go to the Forbes. I'm not going to get too much into it because I don't want the video taken down, just in case. But you can go into Forbes and check that out. So EA is losing a whole fuckload of investors, all right, because it's not going good. They're basically just selling their stock off and just fucking running for the hills. So now they're in order to solve that problem, is they are going to be, EA is basically selling out to venture capital corporations. You know what I mean? So nobody wants to invest, and nobody respectable, dare I say, wants to invest in EA. So they got to go and peddle their product to venture capitalist corporations here. The Miles Capital. Also, there was another one that Carisdale Advisors increased its stake in EA by 258.62%. Wow. For EA to give that much, you know what I mean? Like, they must, to a venture capitalist corp, I mean, they must be in some serious shit. And indeed they are. You can see down here, Electronic Arts has declined 26.98% since June 19th. And again, like, they are in steady decline. There is one point about the Forbes article that I do want to get into, and it's that they say that the way they criticize the PowerPoint, the way they criticize the PowerPoint and the way they criticize the patent is that it's supposedly, right, in their eyes, supposedly it's designed to keep players engaged, but that really hasn't happened. Because I don't know if you guys have noticed, and I agree with that point. That's the only point that I agree with the Forbes article, is that's true. It's like, because even the noobs don't feel, even when the noobs, when they fucking win, they don't feel accomplishment. They don't feel, people aren't playing the game, and the people, even the casuals are like, you know what? They feel like they get nothing out of it, just as much as we, the hardcores feel. And I think that's one point that I agree with the Forbes article, is that it's basically all gone to shit. People aren't even playing the game. You remember when it was like, when at any given time, when you would log on, there'd be like, 100K people at any given time. Now you log on, it's 20, 30 if it's good. You know what I mean? So in that sense, I do agree with the Forbes article, but I think that they're misportraying it as oh, the patent's not there. No, the patent's there, and the reason for that, the reason is because the noobs are like, you know what? I don't want to play this anymore. I get nothing out of this. So. But moving on, as we see here, it's all over the place. Eurogamer, FIFA 19 doesn't use EA's dynamic difficulty adjustment patents. Developer insists. And I want to send out a shout out, because I think the time has come. I think now the time has come to officially call for a boycott across all platforms and titles. I think now we have the momentum. It's now or never, guys. Okay, the government's on EA's ass. They're losing investors like fucking crazy. They got the media to deal with. The media's been all over this as well. We have the momentum here, guys. We can actually as a community come together across all platforms and really, because you think that the CEO is going to go to his board and like explain to them how their stock has dropped fucking 60-70%. He's fucking gone, and changes will be made. The board's not going to put up with this kind of shit anymore. They're going to have to change their business model, and I think we are this close. I think we will never come this close again to actually implementing change within EA to actually make the game fair again. You know what I mean? To actually just don't interfere. Just let the best player win, period. No handicap. The handicap before was the level you were in, but now, as you guys know, it's just fucking all bullshit. So I want to send out a shout out. We have to the Quartering, Foot Mentor, Jacked Bill, Yo Mama, MGH, Upper Echelon. You guys are killing it. You guys are the true voice of the FIFA community. I want to send out a shout out to Kurt as well, because I was actually really surprised to actually hear Kurt's reaction to this. I always knew deep down inside Kurt believed in this, that Kurt was with the overall community. But the statement put out by EA was even too much even for Kurt's standards. You know what I mean? Like for someone that's already in EA's doghouse, has been kicked out. I really do. I think Kurt knows where this is going. This is the future. You know what I mean? This is the future, and I think the YouTubers are gonna have to really start considering the future, because pretty soon a lot of these, like the like the Easter Bunny EA pack opening channels. That's what I call them. They're gonna become irrelevant. So yeah, Kurt, he sees the future. A lot of YouTubers, like the ones I've mentioned, see the future. They see where this is going, and at this point, we need to band together and boycott, because we have to. That's the only way. That's the only way we're gonna get actual change within EA. We are this close. The momentum is with us. So gamers of all lands, unite. You have nothing to lose but your user-generated data handicap. EA Sports, it's in the script.